You're going to do that every time now, aren't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, this is Sam Spade from the Midnight Devils.
This is Sniper from the Midnight Devils.
Jimmy Maz from Guess What? The Midnight Devils.
And you're watching Decibel Geek TV.
Here we are, finally, after a long, hard week. It's finally Friday night.
Finally.
Right back again. Decibel Geek, Friday Night Live. Yeah, you want to talk about rock and roll? You hit us up. Get in on the conversation. Get your comments rolling in. We want to hear from everybody. I'm Aaron Camaro, joined as always by my main man, the producer. The man who makes all this happen, the one and only Rockin' Ron Runyon. What's going on, brother?
Hey.
Yeah.
Good, man. Thank God it's Friday. Here we go. We got Kristen in already.
I got it. I got all the Wi-Fi I can handle.
Amber, good to see you again.
Nice.
Oh, they're rolling in now.
I didn't realize Decibel Geek Friday Night Live was so popular with the ladies. And Chris Sinzak ain't even here. That's our eye candy. That's what catches them.
Oh, what's Chris up to right now?
Last I heard, he was blowing his AC repairman.
That's a little
just rumor and speculation. I can't confirm that.
That's
at all.
Too much information, man. Now I got that picture in my head for the night.
Take it out. Take it out. What's up, Adam? So if you guys don't know, if you're just checking us out for the first time, this is Decibel Geek Friday Night Live. We do the Decibel Geek podcast. Normally my co-host for that, Chris, is on here with us. He's a little indisposed at the moment, I guess. So he'll probably be joining us real shortly. But we're a rock and roll podcast. Pretty damn popular one, too. People seem to really like us. And then, of course, we got Rockin' Ron Runyon, who runs our YouTube channel, and that is Decibel Geek TV. A lot of you probably are watching this on Decibel Geek TV right now on the YouTube. Some of the other ones may be watching it on Facebook. Wherever you're watching and however you're doing it, we want to hear from you. We got a cool guest tonight. We're going to be talking about rock and roll. We're going to have some fun, and you guys can join in on the conversation with that. There's my main man, Nate. I was trying to talk him into moving to Nashville today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any luck?
Maybe.
Do it, Nate.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Well, look who it is.
What's up?
Chris Sinzak. After all, he's here.
Did you get your $20, man?
Did you get,
$20
more
is
importantly,
$20,
did you get your air conditioner fixed?
I did.
Oh, very good.
Oh man, yeah, I got it fixed.
Awkward pause after that.
Hey,
Good,
well,
good.
for once, Chris won't be blowing just hot air tonight. Then,
Yeah.
Oh boy, we already got jokes. There we go.
yeah, we need our drum rolls here.
Yeah.
We had for a little bit of AC talk. We had our drain line in the attic became disconnected and the pan filled up with water, but it hadn't gotten to the point where it overflowed and flooded. So we did it just in time.
Wow. Yeah.
And,
that's a nice, easy fix too.
Yeah, they did the and they also replaced the capacitor in the outside unit because it was not doing too well. So
what is this now? Are you going to be able to talk now that your John must be sore?
I think she means his jaw.
Or his junk. What?
No, it was $150. Not bad.
That's not bad. Like I said, that's an easy fix. Luckily for you, you must have had a float switch, so that must have cut off your air conditioner.
Yeah, that's
and
what
it didn't allow it to get to the point because some people don't have float switches. If you don't have that, man, you'd have been flooding. Is your unit up in the ceiling?
Do what?
Is your unit up in the ceiling?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have been noticing it eventually when it started puddling in your living room.
Yeah, he had to do 2 trips up to my attic and back to use the wet dry vac to get all the water out.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh man, I could just do so much with this. But I'm just leaving it alone. No, you guys go ahead and talk, man.
Bring on the
air conditioner talk on Friday Night Live.
Oh man!
Just as long as my float switch is working, so I don't flood. Anyways,
you'll get it, Chris. You'll get all these jokes when you watch everything back later.
No, I already saw you said that I blew the fucking AC repair down. I already saw that.
I was hoping you were oblivious to it.
No, I turned it on my phone. Yeah, $150. You must got.
You got skills.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Hey man, I'm talented.
Oh man, we're off to a hot start tonight.
And so, how was your guys' week, man?
No, he's not. Not bad. Just a lot of regular life shit to deal with, and dealing with work stuff. But not bad. I'm having a barbecue with 2 of my best friends from like elementary through high school tomorrow, so that should be fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Looking forward to busting balls with them over the old times.
Yeah, that's always fun. Always fun to do that. I know I had a pretty long week at work. It feels like, moving into the new place, it's go do maintenance all day long and then come home and do a whole bunch more. So here is to the working man, everybody that worked hard this week.
I almost called you about the AC thing.
Here's to Craig back from Australia.
Not gonna bug Aaron because he deals with that shit day in and day out. So
well, and it's not that. It's a lot of times I kind of need to put my eyes on it,
right,
to really know what's going on. Like that, unless you'd have said, "Hey, I went up there and the thing's full of water," then I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, well, the guy said, I was like, "Well, how would it come disconnected?" He's like, "It could have been any number of things. It's like the glue could have been wearing off on the line or whatever." But anyway, that's AC talk with Decibel Geek. I'm just happy that it's.
I'm gonna start my own podcast, AC with AC.
There you go.
Hey, there you go. Yeah.
I don't even have time to edit the podcast we got.
No, and boy, was I drunk for that one.
Yeah, I was tired. I don't know how that one's gonna go because you were pretty buzzed up and I was fucking beat. As soon as we got done recording that one, I crawled up the stairs, crawled into bed, and passed out.
Oh man. No, but I think we had fun with it. I mean, there were some good laughs in it. I think it should be fine.
Yeah, I think I'll have that edited somewhere before the end of the weekend, and then you guys can look forward to a brand new episode of Decibel Geek on Monday.
Awesome.
It's a good way to start the week.
Yeah, but I mean, if you watched last week, it's pretty much the same topics we covered last week, but Aaron wasn't able to join us.
I was going to say, except way better because I'm on it.
Well, your connection is perfect right now, so I think the Wi-Fi extender did the trick, and I can actually see a little bit of the new house, so it looks good. Yeah,
I was showing Ron earlier. I was turning the laptop around, showing him like the pile of boxes full of CDs and all that. It's a process, man. It's a process for sure. Right now, I got the soundboard sitting on a little table, and the laptop is sitting up on top of 2 totes that's full of something. And I got extension cords running over here, and I got a chair pulled up. And here I got I need a scarf for my microphone because it's on a real like a singer's microphone stand.
Yeah,
you're still on the green beer.
Yeah,
you got your fruity concoction there, AC.
7.5%. Thank you very much.
No,
No, just drinking a couple of cold beers tonight.
I got my Jaeger.
For real?
All right.
Is that prescription Jaeger?
Are you drinking Jaeger? Really?
All right, it's Coke, but I wanted to put it in the
Honestly, that
the
Jaeger
mug
would probably
just
Jaeger
for
would
old
be,
time's sake.
Jaeger would be healthier than Coke, Ron. Just saying.
Probably.
All right, well.
Just start doing shots. You'll be good.
Oh, that's right. Hold on a minute, guys. I'll be right back.
What? Okay.
All right. Rock and
Look at-
Ron, stepping out for a minute.
Mighty K with the
You
potty
convinced him. That's all he needed to hear. Thanks, Dr. Chris. I'll go get my shot glass right now.
mouth. Yeah, don't take my fucking advice.
Can you write that in a prescription for me so I can show it to my doctor?
If you're taking my advice, you're going to be in a really early grave. Yeah, don't listen to me on medical
Eye
advice.
candy. I just noticed that. I just saw it now.
I'm glad I made you laugh.
That's awesome.
Love the Jolt shirt.
All right.
All right, what did you do?
Where'd you go, Ron?
Fucking cokehead.
Uh-oh. What?
Don's gonna murder us.
All right.
Where'd you go?
I had to take my medicine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm all screwed up here.
Indy Colt, where have you been? It's happening. August 6th through the 8th, Nashville. Go to rockandpod.com, get all the details. Come join us. And speaking of Rock and Pod, our sound man Andy Condor says perfect gain on my mic tonight. So good. I'm glad.
Nice.
I didn't change a damn thing, but I'm glad you think so. Oh man. Oh, so what's so Ron's kind of run with the ball this week. So what's on tap, Ron? What are we doing?
I wanted to bring a couple of things up. If you want to take care of the comments here.
Okay.
And,
Way to go, Andy.
just heard some news coming out of Kentucky, which I wanted to bring up. Is this is a band that I knew of a couple of years ago. Come out, they're Wild Ride.
Yeah, good old Mick Watkins.
And
Yeah.
Mick Watkins and the boys, and good band, put out a great EP a couple of years ago, City Streets, and was looking forward to them getting out and doing some live shows. And they did they was doing a sound check here last weekend, and a 1,000-pound lighting truss fell out of come crashing down, landed right on a couple of the guys. Mick and Tommy Blitz was injured over it. And so we at Decibel Geek here, I wanted to send our thoughts and prayers out to those guys. And I was talking to Mick earlier today, and
so he returns your messages and not mine. I got you. Okay. No, Mick had a compound fracture in his ankle. It's really fucking serious.
Damn.
Yeah.
But Tommy, I think, fractured his neck or something like that. It was pretty serious.
I know
So
he had like a head injury. Yeah.
But the good news is they're expected to make a full recovery. So, thoughts go out to them to make a full recovery here, and hoping to get them on the show here on a Friday Night Live in the future, when they can announce their comeback to the stage and everything here. And so wanted to send that out to those guys.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, they're a really good band. And, I think we need to do another Fresh Blood episode soon, because we had such a good response to the last one. And I think Wild Ride should definitely be included in that.
I'm cool with that. I'm definitely.
Yeah, and speaking of Was it, I think on your Fresh Blood, or it was one of our Smash and Trashes, but I picked this one up today. This just came out today. The new one from Minefield.
Yeah, I played them on the show.
And with Todd Kearns and Jeremy Asbrock and Brandon Fields.
Yeah.
And Matt Starr. And man, I tell you, I've been cranking this sucker all day. It is an awesome album. And
I heard they do a Kiss All American Man cover on that album.
Yeah, they sent it to us.
They do. Yeah. Brandon sent that to us, to me and Aaron, at least, a while back.
Well, I haven't announced it yet, but Brandon's coming to Rockin' Pod. You know, he's got a really good show
awesome
himself, so he'll be a part of Rockin' Pod also.
Good. I was hoping so.
Nice.
Yeah, they do an awesome
for that pre-party.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do an awesome cover of All American Man. That's awesome on there, and the other tracks are just as good, man. I want to say this is in my contention for one of the best albums of the year right now.
Right on.
Minefield. Right on. And yeah, so I think that's all I got as far as there. Little local news, personal level. I'm looking at hopefully going out to a show tomorrow night. My first show in over a year, hoping that I'm going to be able to go out. But Aaron, you're going to like this, and I know our guest has some stories for you on this. But I got Chips and Nuff is coming out doing a Beatles show here in Denver tomorrow night.
Is it just Chip or is it the whole band?
I'm not exactly sure. Is it the whole band on the poster there?
Yeah.
Is it Enough's Enough? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it might lineup, might be the whole band, or he might have some others, but I know it's definitely Chip that's doing it. And
heck yeah.
Chip is always a character, so I love seeing him.
Always loved it when Enough's Enough would rock out those Beatles covers, and they did a lot of Beatles covers over the years. I just saw a thing recently where Howard Stern was talking about Donnie V.
I was going to bring that up.
Was talking about how, good that guy was, and, how he rocked out that John Lennon tune, Jealous Guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was making jokes, and it's like, here's this guy, and he ain't a billionaire, but you kids off American Idol, you're going to make it huge, but you can't do what this guy does.
Yeah, it was like kind of like complisult. It was like he was complimenting him and insulting him at the same time. He's like, I think Donnie V's like parking valet for, the local hotel.
But, shit, everybody's got to work for a living. We can't all be billionaires, I guess.
Right.
We all ain't got Howard Stern money.
I wish.
Well, like I said, our guest has some stories for you.
Oh, that's cool.
With Chip and a bunch of other stories. So we'll go ahead and I know he's waiting in the wings here. So Sniper, if you want to give us a thumbs up, if you're ready to go.
I think he's ready.
And he is. And so let me introduce this guy. I go back a little ways with this band. They originally was called 3D in Your Face out in where the hell did Chris go now? Okay, well, anyways, they're called 3D in Your Face, and I met them out at Rocklahoma, and they became the Midnight Devils with okay. We're going to have a gun battle here. All right. Sharpshooters in the house.
What the hell?
Anyways, with
just trying to keep it interesting. I don't want to be eye candy for the go. So I gotta go along with the
So
theme.
you change it to sharpshooter?
Sharpshooter. Well, we have Sniper coming on, so I'm going to be sharpshooter. Come on. It's like a buddy cop movie. Come on.
Oh, okay. All right. I get you now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, the first show I ever went to for Decibel Geek, the first rock star I met was Jimmy Mess, which is their drummer. He's kind of a hired gun, been drumming for a bunch of bands, including Enough's Enough and I think Faster Pussycat and a whole bunch of others. We got these guys here, Midnight Devils.
They're some cool ass looking dudes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they're just some clean cut all American boys here.
On tour soon with Kanye West. They fit right in.
Those are the kind of kids I wanted to hang out with when I was in school.
So I'll give you a little taste here what Sniper can do, and then we'll bring the boys on here.
Nice.
All right, there we go. A little taste of the Devils, and let's bring on Chris Sniper Hineline. Welcome to Friday Night Live, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really thrilled to be here.
There's some applause. for you.
I've watched your show before, and while I don't drink heavily as you guys do, I appreciate the fact that it's been Friday and a long week.
Yeah,
Do
you're
we
not
drink heavily?
This
drinking
here
like
is
me?
a little concoction, but here's to you. Thanks for having me on. It's an honor and a privilege. Okay.
Right.
Nice to have you.
All right.
What are you drinking this evening?
I'm supposed to be, actually, it's a funny story. Me and Ron were talking a little bit before you guys came on, and yeah, kiss in the background for sure. Anyways, so I'm supposed to actually be in Chicago recording at Chip's studio.
Oh yeah.
And when Ron called me, I'm like, I don't know if I can do it because I'm supposed to be in Chicago. I had something to do, but our bass player's like, yeah, Chip's gonna be playing Beatles in Denver, and I'm like, oh, I guess I can do the show then. So that's cool. So it worked out better for me because I didn't want to drive Chicago anyway. So that's cool. It's a long drive. So yeah. I'm based out of Omaha, and Jimmy Mess lives in Chicago, so that's usually where I crash. I crash at his place, and then Sam, the bass player, lives in Lincoln, so we're kind of spread out everywhere. So, but again, I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm ready to talk Kiss, Van Halen, guitars, whatever. Let's do it. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Omaha, Nebraska, also the home of Luke Carl, serious DJ that's a friend of ours.
That is, you know what?
Yeah.
But you would say that. I met his mother, who was like, I was at this post office, and this lady came up to me, and because I had long hair, and she's like, "Do you listen to XM radio?" I'm like, "Actually, I do." She goes, "Do you know who Luke Carl is?" I'm like, "Actually, I do." She goes, "You know, he dated Lady Gaga." That was his whole, you know, and
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I had no idea." I'm like, "Oh, cool." She's like, "Yeah, he has long hair and he's on the radio." I'm like, "I got long hair and I'm in the post office. I don't know what else to say." Or, you know.
And you're in Nebraska. Clearly, you know each other.
Yeah, well, there's only 6 of us in the state, so you know.
Right.
Well, see, I could have said home of 311, but I wanted to be cooler than that, so I said home of Luke Carl.
Thank you for that. I appreciate
You're welcome.
Home of 311.
Yeah, 311's from Omaha.
Are they still around?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I saw them. I saw them at Vanderbilt's gym, like back in the '90s, and it was one of the worst concerts I've ever went to.
Yeah,
terrible show. Yeah, not a good band.
I'm trying to think the other guy that's from Connor Oberst. Isn't that?
Didn't he like kill himself or something? Bright Eyes, isn't that?
Yeah, Bright Eyes. Yeah, right. Bruce Springsteen, big fan. I'm like, nah, I never seen him, never heard of him, so I don't know. Apparently, he's popular around here. I just never heard of him, so you know.
I don't know.
That's
are you playing a Destroyer in that video clip we just saw?
Was it yellow?
I couldn't really. It was either white or yellow on the. It looked like
I think it's a custom shop Chevelle that I had made. Well, it reverse stock. It's a when it was right before Fender bought Charvel. I had that made at the custom shop.
Remind me of the old Chris Holmes guitar.
That's exactly what it was based off of, pretty
Okay.
much.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I watched that documentary this week, actually.
Is it Mean Man?
Mean
That
Man.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can watch it for free on Amazon. It's not bad. It's pretty good. You know, he moved. It's basically goes back and forth between him playing coffee houses in Europe and him saying Blackie Lawless fucked me over. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole documentary.
Yeah. Does he live in France? Is that where he lives?
Yeah, I think he lives in France now.
Yeah. I knew there was like they were talking about they're floating like a reality show with him and no one would pick it up because they were like, I don't know. I was like, oh please, someone pick it up. I want to see this really bad. And I didn't.
Had to take a break from that documentary. Chris is interesting for an hour and a half documentary. I don't think I'd want to watch him on a weekly basis though. I mean, I think that would be a little bit much.
Maybe 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah, I mean, he was entertaining though. I mean, the main takeaway I took from it though is he's not as crazy as people, want to make him out, or at least he's mellowed with age. He's not as nutty as he used to be.
I bet I would say that's correct. Mellowed with age.
Yeah.
Well, everybody thinks of him with decline of civilization too.
Yeah.
And
they addressed that in the documentary a little bit.
The pool scene is like you cannot think of that documentary without thinking of that pool scene where his mom is just shaking her head and he's just in the pool drinking just dry, and you're like,
well,
wow.
There's always been like rumors back and forth of whether he was really drinking vodka or if it was water or whatever, and but I mean he's like it was vodka, I was really drinking that, but I don't know. I mean he was definitely drunk. You could tell by the way he slurs through the interview. He was at least drunk when they started the interview, but his mom seems real prim and proper in the interview, but his mom's in this documentary and she's crazy as fuck too. So I mean, I was like, you can see where he gets it from.
Yeah, he comes by it honestly, I guess. It runs in the family. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that was a classic scene, but that's been following him all these years. Yeah. Especially if he's trying to clean himself up or, try to tell people he's mellowed with age.
He says he's been sober for a long, long time. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that could be 24 hours. I mean, you never know. I'm just saying,
A long time means different things to different people.
Right.
I don't drink vodka anymore. I don't drink it any less either, but I don't drink it
anymore. There you go.
Fucking all right. So you're in Omaha.
Yeah. The great big O, the big zero as we call it, the big O. Yeah.
So any particular special concert stories of growing up in Omaha? Did you see any amazing shows when you were growing up?
Oh yeah. The thing was, as I believe we're like right between Chicago and Denver. So a lot of bands that hit here or Lincoln, which is an hour west. So I saw like all the, Kiss on the Love Gun or the 77 Live 2 tour. I saw that. I some weird ones. I saw like the band X.
From LA.
Yeah. Of course, Van Halen multiple times, Kiss multiple times. Just because it was like, I want to say it was like a gas money route gig for the bands to go from Chicago to Omaha to Denver or Kansas City or, whatnot. So there was some cool, there used to be a huge, well, not a huge, like an arena here that they tore down and replaced with a different one. And I was pretty devastated because I'm like, man, there was a lot of history and stories in that venue, and they tore it down and turned it into a fucking parking garage, And then, how like they build a stadium or an arena and they everybody's trying to put their name on it, like, so it's now HCHI Arena, and you're like, I called it the Quest for so long. I'm like, why the hell isn't it the Quest? They changed the, and you're like,
yeah,
I can't keep up. I'm like, I just go the Arena. No, I can't even just fucking do it. I think the last band I saw there was Kiss. I think before the pandemic hit.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Kiss. Yeah, it was
so
Kiss.
You saw Kiss on the Love Gun tour or the Alive 2 tour?
Yeah, I was a little lad, my older sister, I was a giant Ace Frehley guy. And my sister's like, for my Christmas present, she took me to see Kiss on like December 6th, 1977. I was like probably 8 years old. And of course, it changed me forever. My mom and dad and my sister thought it would like scar me and make me run from it. It did the opposite. It made me go get a lawn service job and buy a guitar and an amp, and pretty much ever changed everything I ever did. And my parents were like, oh, that may have been a mistake, you know, but I was so blown away by Elvis Presley and Kiss, but seeing Kiss live was just so, you know, the original, at the time you don't know, but the original members, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the fire, the smoke, the bombs, the songs, everything, you know, the smoking guitar, that was pretty fucking epic in my opinion. I was like, you know, the top of their game, 77, top of their game, you know, that was when Kiss was the best. So I was like, yeah, man, it was a pretty epic fucking show. And this unknown guy named John Cougar opened for him.
Oh, he's John Cougar.
Johnny Cougar?
John Cougar. I was like, oh my God. He lasted about 20 minutes before he had to get off the stage because everybody was wanting to see Kiss. You know how that works.
That's an odd opening act to have.
Yeah, really.
It was. I don't think he had a hit at that point. No one knew who he was. It was just, I just remember Kiss and opening up Detroit Rock City and coming down on the platforms that were coming down like this. And I'm like this 8-year-old kid going, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's it right there. You know,
there you go.
That's amazing.
You didn't want to write songs about sucking on a chili dog outside the Tasty Freeze or anything like that.
I never want to suck on a chili dog. Just let's clarify that right now. Okay? Yeah.
I saw John Cougar in 1977 and it changed my life, man. No.
Said no one ever. Yeah.
Do you know that, and I've told this story on the live stream before, but do you know that thing about like when Kiss Creatures of the Night came out, there were like several versions of that album that got pressed incorrectly, and side B was actually American Fool by John Cougar Mellencamp.
Get out of here. That was so fucking cool.
Can you imagine buying the new Kiss album and listening to side A going, this is Kiss at their heaviest. This is amazing. Let's flip it over and hear what's on side 2. And all of a sudden it's John Cougar. Like, what the fuck happened to Kiss? What happened?
Well, now we know. Maybe that was done on purpose by the record company, getting revenge for booing him off the stage there.
It's possible. They're trying to sell more records, probably. Gene Simmons' evil idea of like, I know how we can sell more records. Let's put a misprint on it. Then they have to buy 2. This will work, you know?
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me too much.
Funny. I'm going to tell you a funny story that happened to 3D. That was the band I used to be in. We just bought we were doing a CD release party, and we had a gig like the next night of like CD release, 1,000 CDs gonna fucking rock, right, blah, blah, blah. And so we're opening these boxes up. We're looking at them. We're all fucking like, oh my God, we're so cool. And I go, hey, let's listen to it real quick. And we cut it open and we put the first song on, and I'm like, that's like clean country guitar. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? So we open like 10 different ones that are all country, and we're like, oh my God, the CD company that did all the work put the wrong music on our stuff.
Oh no.
Oh,
so
man.
we're like, we have a CD release party tomorrow night. This is like 8:00 at night. We're at rehearsal, and I'm like, and the guy on the phone goes, well, give us the number. And on the CD, on the little roll, there's a number, and we gave him the number, and he goes, yeah, that isn't right. And we're like, yeah, we fucking know that, dude. Fuck, what the fuck, you know? So we're like, what can we do? What can we do? We got to have at least something to sell tomorrow or give away at the thing. So they said, yeah, we'll give you your money back. We're like, yeah, fuck, right, good idea. So we have 1,000 CDs that we can't use. So we send them all back, and they sent us 100. They had a guy work overnight and sent us 100 CDs with the proper
your
music on it.
Man.
And we kept a couple of the country ones just so I could laugh about it. It was like a total Spinal Tap fucking thing, and I was just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But it happened. So we sent them all the CDs back. They were all sealed in plastic. They opened them all up, pulled all the CDs out, redid the CDs and stuck them back in, re-shrink wrap and sent them back to us. Wow. And I was like, what in the fuck? A good thing I was an American fool because I'd have probably been more pissed, but it was just
I was going to say it's a damn good thing you decided to listen to it one time because otherwise people would have been pissed.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, only could this happen to me? Why the fuck me? But it's like,
what the fuck? Why do you guys sound like Rascal Flatts here?
It was worse than that. It was just like cling, 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 cling. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
But that would really be like the ultimate CD release party prank to play on people, though.
Yeah.
It would be funny if they did it on purpose. But
or have it pressed. Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up on your CDs, and everybody plays that when they get home.
I would like that. I'd be like, this is a great CD, but no, the country music. I was like, oh fuck, it was so.
Then you could have a bumper sticker or something saying I was rickrolled by the Midnight Devils.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm getting those made up today. I love it.
This band is so much better live. I just don't get it.
That could be your motto.
Terrible
too.
in the studio.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Sorry to sidetrack you there. I thought
no, that's great. I love that.
So how does Midnight Devils get formed? And obviously you guys have a striking look. How does that decision get made to
me and Sam, the bass player, we're in an 80s tribute band that did originals called 3D in Your Face. And so what happened was the singer was starting to have health issues. We were a 4-piece, and the singer was having health issues, wasn't sure he wanted to play that much. And me and Sam were like, we want to play every night of the week, and so it was about 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago. We said, well, we're going to try this thing. We watched a Keith Richards documentary or a Rolling Stones documentary where Keith Richards was like doing these little acoustic gigs and stuff. And we're like, we're going to do that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we tried that. And so here's these two glam guys playing acoustic guitars in these little tiny bars, playing like Poison and Kiss and a few other songs with acoustic guitars. And it didn't work very well, but we were getting paid. So I was like, well, at least we're playing, And so we were looking for a drummer at the time because the other drummer from 3D wasn't interested in working with us outside of 3D. So we hooked up with a drummer and went electric after about 6 or 7 months and got tired of being chased out of town by the hillbillies fucking, pulling their guns and like shooting them in the air and chasing us out of town because we're a bunch of quote unquote queerosexuals, and we're like, okay. So we got a drummer and started doing electric shows on September 17th, I think 2017. We went electric and started writing songs for a new record. And we were doing a tour. And this drummer, I won't mention his name because I don't want to be sued, left us in the middle of the tour. We're doing all these shows down to Rocklahoma, and he left us in the middle of we were playing Kansas City on a Monday night at the Riot Room, and we played with another band, like 2 or 3 bands, and we were the last band. So we're like selling merch and talking to fans, and I noticed his drum set was still up and it wasn't broke down. I'm like, where the hell's the drummer? And I go to check by his drums, and he's got these really expensive double kick pedals, and they were gone. I'm like, well, that's weird. I go down to the green room, his stuff's gone. I'm like, well, that's weird. And he doesn't have a phone, but he had a iPod shuffle or iPod thing that if you got Wi-Fi, you could get on Facebook. And so he messages us, I can't do this. I'm just going to go home, guys. And we're like, wow. Dude, we have 2 shows and then we're playing Rocklahoma, man. Wow. And he wouldn't answer his phone or his, the messages. So me and Sam were flipping out. And I said, we got to drive back to Omaha and fucking, throw him back in the truck or the van and go back to Rocklahoma. We had a show in Fort Smith the next night, then Oklahoma City, and then Rocklahoma. So we had 3 shows to do. And he just totally, his girlfriend came down and got him, and they went on a fucking meth binge. And we were like, where the fuck did he go? So we're calling people we know from other bands, like who can we get to fucking fill in, you know? And we called a couple friends and who knew Jimmy. And we had met him the year before when he was with Prophets of Addiction when they played the same stage we did at Rocklahoma.
I remember that.
Yeah, with Leslie. And so Jimmy said, yeah, I'll do it. You got to come pick me up, though. And we're like, where you at? He's like, Chicago. So we drive to Omaha. I sleep.
Oh, man.
Sam rents a car, drives to Chicago, picks Jimmy up, drives back. So he goes like a day without sleep.
Jesus.
I grab the van. They come to my house. I grab the van. They sleep while we had to drive to Oklahoma City to do a show. And I gave Jimmy like I sent him links, said, here's the songs, learn them. You know, so he said, I can fake all the covers. I'll work on the originals. I'm like, cool. And we did a show in Oklahoma City. And I can't imagine it was too good because we never really played together. You know, I was like, hey, learn, you know this Bon Jovi song? Fake it. Just go like this. Boom, boom, you know, whatever. We played covers to get through the night. And we made it somehow. And then we did the Thursday. Do you remember Camp Jaeger down there? They had Camp Jaeger.
Oh, yeah.
In the olden days.
I do.
Yeah,
I know Ron.
They don't know the.
I think that's where I met you, by the way.
That's probably, yeah.
You met Ron at Camp Jaeger? I can't believe that.
Yeah, I know, right? So that was Jimmy's first show. We played like nine originals and made it through the show. And that's the year I think we played the bigger stage, the Hard Rock stage. And yeah, that was how Jimmy came in the band. So Jimmy was like, you dudes are cool. We'll hang out and we'll start working. And I'm like, cool, you know? So we started playing more with him. But when I got back to Omaha, the drummer's calling me up, the other drummer that left. It's like, hey, I need my drums. I'm like, hey, dude, funny story, you know? I could have left them in Kansas City. I didn't. They're in the van, but you don't bother me on Memorial Day. I'm a veteran. I'll come talk to you tomorrow, you know? And then I'll come to your house and drop them off. And that was the last I've heard of him. Then I ran into him, strangely enough. I was trying to buy something at you got Menards down there? It's like a lumber store.
We don't, but I know what it is.
I know.
Yeah, I was
Menards
trying to buy
is.
some hinges. And there he was. I'm like, well, what's up, dude? You know? Then that was probably like 6 months ago. That's the only time I've seen him in that time. But he's pawned all his shit. He's a fucking, I'm sure he's just destitute because he's pawned all his shit. He doesn't have any money. Probably just
Fucked
it's
up,
going
man.
all up his nose, probably.
He could have at least done the dates that you had on the books. Jesus.
See,
Christ.
that's what I said. Quit after Rocklahoma. That's cool.
Right.
Jeez.
Don't stick us. So that was like our bonding story with Jimmy, how he came in the band. And me and Sam were always like, you know, the thing is, it's like all the hardships that we've gone through. Me and Sam have been through some really bad ones. And then now Jimmy's going through been through some hard ones. It's like, just makes you that much more vigilant and want to keep going and proving people wrong, you know, because some people just crumble under pressure. And you're just like, me and Sam are like, what are we going to do? Like, well, we're just going to keep going. There's nothing else we can do, you know?
Fuck yeah.
I do remember 3D in Your Face. That name sounds very familiar to me. I do remember that band.
Well, don't hold that against me, okay?
I know I've heard of it somewhere before, either like Sleaze Rocks or Metal Sludge or one of those sites. I remember that band name.
We released a couple. When me and Sam joined the band, we wrote a couple CDs with the material and released it. And we played Rocklahoma a couple years. And that's where I met Ron the very first time. I met him also at the venue, but I believe Rocklahoma was the first time I met him. And then we were like on not terrestrial, but internet radio, and like we had a few songs that would that we get played, but not like we just like sometimes you're in bands with guys and you're like, could I be friends with this guy if I wasn't in a band with him? And you know what I mean? Like, so I wasn't really friends with the singer or the drummer as much as I was. Me and Sam are like best friends. We finished each other's sentences and shit. But,
Right.
And I had talked to Sam and I'm like, I just don't see a future here, bro. He stopped me from quitting a bunch of times because I was just like, I get frustrated and want to walk out and be like, he's like, no, just hang on. And then I didn't see a future in the band with 3D going any further, whereas me and Sam wanted to do things so differently. And Sam had some great ideas. I had a few ideas, and we were like, maybe we can make it our band where we make the decisions and get to decide what the album cover looks like and decide what the song list is like. And instead of being told no all the time, you know?
Right.
And that's not a slam. It's just, you know, I felt like I was just tired of being told no when I thought it was something might be a good idea. I go, can I at least try it? And it was just no all the time because it wasn't my band. I was just a band I joined, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas the Midnight Devils, it's 3 guys and we pretty much agree on everything, you know?
Awesome.
And the worst part is if you're outvoted, it's always 2-1. You're like, what the hell? What the fuck? I didn't the time, man, you know? But usually we agree on everything. There's a couple times I've disagreed. And of course, everybody's disagreed, but you know, you're like, you got to be a man. You got to be like a fucking adult and say, well, we got outvoted. There's nothing I can do. I got to do it. So can't be a baby about it. You can't come back and say, hey, remember July 3rd and you fucking blah, 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 you motherfucker. You know, you can't do that. You just got to go, I didn't want to do it. Them 2 did. I did it. That's the end of it. No more, you know, you can't fucking bitch about it. It's just, you know, because I'll be like, there'll be a time I want to do something. And, you know, maybe one guy will vote with me or one won't. I'm like, you know, so.
That's part of why I stopped playing in bands is just because like dealing with like 3-4 other people and like having to go through all that stuff. It's like almost like a marriage, you know, like with, you know,
it's probably worse
with a podcast. It's just me and Aaron basically. And we hash stuff out or with the live stream with Ron, of course, Ron just does what he wants to do and we just kind of follow along. But
that's the best thing about it. Right.
I mean, but it is like it's a democracy. It's like a marriage. The interpersonal relationships have to be good for it to work out.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you have to realize like this guy is slow getting up. So you got to start an hour earlier. And so you can't be mad at him. You just start earlier and say, well, it takes him longer to get ready. So you start earlier, getting him up. You can't be mad, say we have to be out of here at 3. You start at 1 to wake him up so you can be out there on time on 3. And getting to know each person and their little fucking idiosyncrasies about, you know, what's weird about them. Like, some guys like to take long showers at nights. You're like, hey, let me go in there first, man. I got a whiz, you know, instead of like pounding on the door or whatever, you know, it's just, and being like, musicians are hard dudes to get along with because they're all weirdos, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah. We all got our little quirks, you know? So, just being able to just say, it is what it is, move on, you know, it's like, the 21 hours a day, well, it's like there's 22 hours a day I don't get to play guitar in front of people. So that part sucks. The 2 hours I get to do what I want to do, that's kick ass. And for me, that's more worth it to erase the other 22 hours of me putting up with Jimmy's smelly feet or Sam's farting or whatever, you know, you're like, it is what it is. I get to play guitar loud in front of people and I enjoy it. That's what I want to do, you know? So it's one of those things, you know, I'm sure Ace and fucking Peter Criss could tell way better stories, but you know, Paul and Gene have this like magical relationship and this business relationship that I like admire because they like, you know, they've been bitter enemies at points and then they're like best friends at points, but they know that the end product is they got to make the machine work no matter what, you know what I mean? So I know their whole approach, their whole business, you know, a lot of people are mad when Eric Carr died and, you know, they just replaced him. And I'm like, fuck, if you're in a band, you know what he's going through. It has to be done, man, you know? And it was a shitty move, sure, on the outside, but they had to keep going on because the machine had to keep going, you know? So,
yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't doing great financially at that point, so they kind of had to keep going at that point.
Right. You know, like, it's hard to believe the Kiss didn't have that much money, you know, but it's true. That was that period right there, like 92, 91, and you're like, they weren't doing good because all that stuff that had came out that I didn't like very much, that Seattle stuff, I wasn't a big fan because I was like, you know, if you're like me, you like Rat Van Halen, Motley Crue, Kiss, shit like that, Pastor Pussycat, you know, and you're like, this is not like that at all, you know, so it was like, for me, it was like the death of all the guitar heroes, you know, I was like, all the cool dudes like George Lynch and Eddie Van Halen kind of disappeared for a while, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Guitar solos they were considered passe, which was, you know, insanity in my opinion, but you know, it was like you got made fun of if you had guitar solos, which is
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like you went from the hero of the band to the zero of the band just that fast. And then they were like, oh, Kurt Cobain's a musical genius. And I'm like, hold the fuck on. This guy's musical fucking genius? Please, I'm like, yeah, so Pete Townsend, Jimmy Page, no? Okay, I got you, I don't, I'm not going to slam too much stuff. That whole era is weird to me.
The Guitar Hero thing became like I said, a passe thing, and Kurt Cobain's getting put up on this huge pedestal, and it's like, I know people down the street that do nothing but play in their garage that can play as good as Kurt Cobain. It's like it became like the chic thing to not be talented, and that was the weirdest thing.
I bet not.
Yeah, I'll bet Eddie was never called passe. And you're probably right.
In the early 90s, though, people were making fun of that type of playing.
Yeah.
I didn't want all the widdly stuff.
Yeah.
I remember reading an interview with Steve Vai where he said he was like the poster child of what everybody from them 90s bands hated, because he was that guitar guy and doing that guitar music. And I was like, yeah, I can see that, because they're playing 2-chord songs and talking about destroying their sweater. And I'm like, what in the fuck is this shit, But, then all of a sudden it comes back around and he's back on, he's Steve Vai, he's on top again. So, the guy, it is what it is. Did that dude say he wore a winger shirt on purpose?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. I would see that. That's
awesome.
like that MTV thing. That's fucking awesome, dude.
I was gonna say, you probably got called Stewart a lot during those times. But,
Stewart.
Stewart.
That's awesome.
There you go, Neil Minky.
Yeah.
Someone did it. Yeah. So then, as far as, getting along with people in the band, it's probably on a much larger scale, like why the guys in Van Halen didn't get along, or why the guys in this band didn't get along, or that man. And I get it. You just got to have that attitude. You're like, it's just a small thing. It's a small part of the day. I can get through it. And, one of the things I used to do is them guys will sleep really late, and I can go on less sleep. So I get up and walk around, or I'll fucking get an Uber and go check out guitar shops, or like music stores, or, go buy CDs or whatever. Just because you need your, you've heard it many times, you need your load time from everybody once in a while. Just because you're around each other all the time, you're going to start, resenting them and calling them dicks and shit. It's just the way it is, because somebody's cranky. They didn't want to get up because we have to travel to Baton Rouge or something, and they're being a little bitch about it. You're like, just shut the fuck up and get in the van. I don't care. I don't care. We don't have to talk. Get on your phone. Get on Facebook. I don't give a shit. Just get in the van. I
got to think that social media has made those types of situations a lot better, because it's a boredom killer, and like I had to go to the post office a couple of months ago, and I'm waiting in a long line, and like the Wi-Fi is not working in there, so I can't like surf my phone for stuff. And I was like, I forgot how shitty this is, waiting in a line where you have nothing to do. But like most of the time now, you can just surf the internet and keep yourself occupied.
For sure. Yeah, you know what? I can honestly tell you, there are stretches, like I drive a lot and Sam drives a lot and Jimmy doesn't drive at all because he doesn't have a license, where we don't talk at all for like hours, like hours, because they're on their phones. Like whoever's driving is driving and they're fucking looking at the landscape. They're on their phones, just looking at Facebook or wherever they look at, just checking shit out, and nothing is said. Or like, hey, I got to pee, pull over. What you're like, okay. And I'm like, that's fine by me, because I don't need to talk. I can sit there and drive. I don't care. But I look at, I'm looking at Reverb and eBay and shit, trying to buy guitars or what, or whatever. Same deal.
It would have helped the Ramones greatly, because the Ramones never spoke to each other when they were on the van. So like, yeah, having social media would have been great for those guys.
I've been in bands like that where you don't talk a lot because you think you're like, if it wasn't for this band, I wouldn't hang around this person because I don't really like them. But you make it work because you want to be out playing. You know what I mean? and they may do something you disagree with or don't like or whatever, and so you don't dare say anything because you want to start a rift in the band, you know. So it's one of those things. But the band I'm in now, we get along great. In fact, I bust Jimmy's balls all the time and Sam's ball all the time. It's like we're like brothers, you know. So we don't really fight. Me and Jimmy disagree once in a while, but Sam's like never met a fucking stranger. He's one of them guys, you know. He's just the nicest guy ever. And
Right.
Jimmy's like the slowest dude ever. You know, he's just like, it takes him an hour and a half to do anything, you know. And then like I'm like the guys, let's get on the bus, guys. You know, you got to have one of them guys in the band. So I'm like, get on the bus, get your shit, let's go. And with Jimmy, you got to start like a couple hours early to make sure you can make your time hacks because he's kind of nonchalant is the word I'm going to use. You know, good dude, great drummer. Love the guy. I do love. He's like my second best friend, but he's on his phone, just like Jimmy, we got to go. And he's like, He's like, I'm checking my Tinder. Hold on. You know, you're like,
Oh,
Well, that's what I got to say about you guys. You know, when I've met up with you, you're like the picture of a road band. You know, I've seen you guys at shows, and you got the beat up old camper bus. You know,
smells
and
like feet. Yeah.
yeah. And, you know, you guys are all, you know, doing yourself, you know, getting yourself together, you know, putting on makeup and everything else in the venue bathroom and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, you guys always came off as, you know, this is the hardworking band that is out on the road, you know, all the time, paying their dues and that, but also you guys would take anything. You would do, you know, somebody would cancel at the last minute. I think the last time I saw you guys might've been with, was it Choir Boys?
Yeah. That was,
something was, and it,
yeah.
yeah. And it was like somebody at the last minute canceled. And all of a sudden, you know, in less than 24 hours, they was like, you know, the Midnight Devils are going to be there.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys traveled all the way from wherever you were just to, you know, get in there at the last minute. And you know, but you guys, you know, get out there and put on a show wherever you go, and you put on a hell of a show. It's always high energy, and you know, Sam is working the audience and that. So, you know, I always looked up to you guys. You know, I seen, you know, as I said, I seen Jimmy was one of the first ones I ever met, and I would see him constantly, like every other month or something, and who knows where. And he would be playing with a different band every time I would see him, or he'd be filling in for somebody with some other band, and it was just a constant where he just kept showing up at wherever I was at. And, you know, but great guy. He's always been super cool to me, and, you know, remembered me from day one, and we'd always meet up with each other and that. And then when you guys come along, of course, you know, I got to know you and Sam, and you guys are, you know, put yourselves out there for the fans and everything too. You know, you're hanging out after the show and, you know, having conversations with people. And, you know, I think that's great. That's the way bands need to be.
Thank you for the kind words, Ron. I got to move my cat. Hold on, okay? He's trying to knock over my stuff here. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. You know, when we were playing in a cover band, the guy in charge was all about money. It was always money, 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 money. And I'm like, the first thing me and Sam talked about was exactly what you were saying, is that we would be like, you know, it's not about money for me. If it was about money, I would have quit a long time ago, because I don't make that much money doing this. In fact, I make very little money doing this. I have to, you know, I buy and sell guitars and guitar parts on eBay to make my living. Is basically what I do. And so when we got the opportunity to play with the Choir Boys, you know, and you're like, man, this is a band I grew up with. I love these guys, you know. And
Great band.
you know, I didn't know what to expect from them. And I was actually pretty nervous about, not about playing with them, but about meeting them and seeing what kind of dudes they are, because sometimes not everybody in the business is nice to you. Some guys have egos, and some guys are like, you know,
No.
they take a 5-hour sound check just to screw you out of a sound check, you know. And so hang on. So they were British gentlemen through and through. They were like the nicest guys. I became friends with everybody in the band. They were the nicest guys. They were using our back line, and they were Bam Ross was the drummer. He wants to be petted, apparently. Here, come down here, buddy.
Is that Peter Criss or Eric Singer?
that one's the Cosmo. I call him Singer. So
Okay.
he's a good boy. Anyways, a funny story. We drove from Omaha to Salt Lake City to do that first show with the Choir Boys, and of course I'm a guitar player, so I'm gonna talk to the guitar players. And Jimmy was taking a flight from Chicago to Salt Lake City, and then he was going to Uber from the airport to the club. And so the drummer's a guy named Bam Ross and Demore Dogs and all and the Choir Boys, and he looks at the drums, and I'll do the best imitation I can. He goes, "What in the actual fuck is wrong with these drums?" And I was trying hard not to laugh, because Jimmy never cleans his drums, never cleans his cymbals. They're just all dirty as fuck. And Bam Ross is like, "I don't know if I can play these, mate." And I'm like, well, he's gonna be here in a little bit. Hold on. And so Jimmy was like, "Yeah, that's the drums." So Jimmy's like, "Hey, I need to borrow some money. I need to go buy some drum heads." Bam Ross is really pissed about all these drum heads. I'm like, "That's because they're beat to shit, bro." So they went and got new drum heads, and then Bam Ross tuned them all, and then they were like the best friends of all, because Jimmy went out and did all that for him. And
All right, I'll be right back.
Paul and Keith, I'm in contact with regularly. That's keyboard playing guitar player, and so Spike and Sam hit it off, so they talk all the time. And then I don't talk to Bam. I think Jimmy talks to Bam. So I mean, but they were great dudes, total gentlemen. And we got that because the band out of LA they canceled on them after like 2 shows. I think they did 2 shows with them. I can't remember the name of the band, and it's on the poster, and I just can't even remember. It's been too long, but they canceled, and so we took the spot. And the tour dude, the tour manager, was like, "Thanks for saving the tour, because we needed backline, they needed a bass rig and guitar cabs and a drum set." And we said, "Yeah, we got it. We're in." So we literally found out like on a Wednesday and drove out, and then Thursday we did a show with them at Liquid Joe's in Salt Lake City. So
Nice.
you know, and you know, I guess my point of the story is we didn't make any money or that much money. You know, we took the bus out to Salt Lake City. That's a long fucking haul, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not like we made any money, but we sold a bunch of merch, and we recouped enough to pay for the ticket and the gas. And I'm like, that's all I care about. We're not going in the red. We're breaking even, and that's fine by me. You know, I love playing guitar. I love playing in front of people. I love talking to people. I love talking about guitars, Kiss, Van Halen, you name it. I'll talk about it. And so I'm more than happy to sit at the merch table and talk to anybody all night long. We call it Billy Gibbons talk whenever like the guys want to talk guitar with me. It's like Billy Gibbons over there, you know. It's just something Jimmy started calling it because we were at a bar one time, and the bar owner kept talking to me, and we were trying to leave, and he kept talking to me about Billy Gibbons and ZZ Top and everything. So we call it Billy Gibbons talk. But yeah, I love talking music. I love talking Kiss, Van Halen, guitars. Yeah, I will. All day long, and I'm probably boring the shit out of you guys, but all day long I'll talk guitars and Kiss and Van Halen and everything. Maybe Cats too. I don't know. I got a couple. So. But I do appreciate the kind words, Ron. Thank you. I feel like we try to be honest and put on a good show and try to get the fans involved. And there's too many bands that don't know how to engage the audience and get them involved. And so you go see a band and you're like, hey, they were good. They just didn't talk to the crowd much, you know?
Right.
And we were like, I think me and Sam are both like, the blueprint has been made. It's like David Lee Roth, Paul Stanley, Michael Monroe. It's there. You just have to follow it, or at least like pick out a couple good ideas and say, yeah, we can do this and this. I don't. You go see a band like Queensryche. There's one fucking amazing band. They don't talk to the crowd a lot, you know, and so it's at least with Jeff Tate they didn't as much. I haven't seen the new guy. I've heard he's really good, and but. I Sam was like, we need to engage them like they do and like Paul does. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That works, you know, and it's a show. It's not just a live jukebox, you know?
Right.
And I'm not slamming anybody, you know.
Then it's interaction, and then the audience goes away feeling like they were a part of it and that they're connected to it. And so, I mean, that just makes it all that much better.
Yeah, I think Kiss laid a really cool blueprint when they did all them anthem type songs, you know, that the crowd sings back. And me and Sam are like, that is just shout it out loud, rock and roll all night. I love it loud. I mean, you can name a song that everybody knows the words to, and they just say, you know, like, yes, that is just, you know, you just can't believe how successful, you know, and easy it is to like do that. It is really not that hard. And so it's just, you got to do it. And some guys, you know, the guy puts his foot on the monitor and fucking holds the mic and doesn't really entertain or talk to the crowd much. You know, you see them bands all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what we do, you know?
Right.
So Sam really gets the crowd involved, you know?
But there's a gift to it.
Adam
too.
here.
It's not just like, you know, anybody can get up there and do that. That's, you know, you gotta have it in you. Cause I mean, you get some guy up there and thinks he's talking to the crowd, but really he's just making a fool of himself, you know? And so they're like, what the hell is this guy even talking about? So it's not like just anybody can get up there and do that. You know, them guys that just stand there like that probably tried to say something cool one time. Like, man, that wasn't nothing like a cool story about going to the doctor like Paul Stanley would tell or something. It's just, we're not doing that no more.
Yeah. You know, you're right, because I think a front man has to have a short memory and say, okay, I tried that shit once, didn't work. Let's try something new. We'll worry about that failure later. Let's just move on to the next one, you know? And, like, I don't talk to the crowd. That's not what I do. That's not me. I'm like this. I play the guitar, and that's what I do. I once in a while I have to talk to the crowd, and I'm like that. I'm like this. So, the weather. You know, I don't know what to say. But Sam's real natural and good with the crowd, and I think that's from the Michael Monroe, Paul Stanley, David Lee Roth kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not every you know little rant you're gonna do is gonna be successful, but you know you hope for like 80%, you know, or you know at least more than half. So he's, you know, you play a club and sometimes it's hard to win them over, and sometimes it's not. Just, you know, by the end of the night you hope you won them over, and then you want to talk at the merch table about Kiss or, you know, the CD or what, you know, whatever song. I think one of the best compliments I've ever gotten in my life was we were at a show. And a guy came up to me, and we do a song called Baptized by the Radio, which is about growing up in a small town and drinking beer in the fucking dirt roads, you know, with your friends like you used to do. And I don't know if you guys did that. We did that around here. You fucking go find a gravel road and drink beer and try to talk to the girls or whatever. But you had that radio, that you know, in the car. And so that's what that song is basically about. And the guy came up to me, and I didn't write the words. I just wrote the music. Sam wrote the words. And he came up to me and he goes, hey, man, that song, Baptized by the Radio, man, that, like, the words, everything, it's made me feel like I was fucking 16 years old again. And I'm going through a terrible time. I've got cancer. My fucking wife left me. He's just going on and on. I'm just like, dude, I could not feel any worse for this guy. And he's like, thank you for making my night better. And I was like, shit. You know, and I'm like, fuck, That's probably the best. Fuck all the drunk. You're the greatest guitar player. Fuck all that shit. That right there, I was like, yeah, that made my fucking year. I'm saying, because he said that one song you did for 5 minutes made me, forget about all the bullshit in my life, and made me think I was 16 years old on a country road drinking beer with my buds and a couple girls, and I was like, that's what it was supposed to do, man. It's perfect,
That's what music's all about. That's that's got the healing power. When you can touch people with a song, and it doesn't have to be a sappy ballad and something. Oh, my heart's broken and this and that. Or, you just do a song like that, just that brings back memories for people. Could be just about anything, but you touch the people out there that any song can mean something to anybody.
Yeah.
Full connection.
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, you play a place like 3 or 4 times. Like, you come the first time, there's not that many people there. The second time, there's more people. The third time, more people. And by the 4th time, they're singing the lyrics back to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, you go, this is what it's about right here. This is what you have a song, and it might not mean something to anybody, but it means something that them 3 people singing it right there in front. And you're like, I had an agent tell me a long time ago, just remember, every song you play, one of those songs is someone's favorite song. And I'm like,
right.
I've never thought of it that way. That is absolutely right, And so when we play the venue, we played there a few times. So when we play there, people know the songs and they buy the CDs and they sing some of the songs back. And I'm like, this is like the greatest thing ever for me. I'm like, this is what all them big name rock stars talk about, that when they sing the songs back, you're like, this is great. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, And I'm humbled by it completely. I don't even, you just don't even know what to say. There's a big smile on my face because I'm happy, and I'm just humbled that people listen to us and allow us to play. I mean, just it is what it is.
So
Tough
now that Chris is back, I'll put you on the spot a little bit here, Chris. With Adam asked, do you know about Rockin' Pod?
I do not, but that is in Nashville.
That is in Nashville. We're putting it on August 6th through the 8th. And huge convention. And
Ron, what do you mean we? Have you been you've been working on planning this? I'll just
talking about you two.
Work. What do you mean us two? I'm doing it all.
Is it a lot of music? Is it a lot of bands and it's a convention, so it's like bands and like what else?
Yeah, so I'll now that who made that comment? Was that Adam and C?
That was Adam.
So now that it'll turn into Plug Fest now. So no, it's basically we've been doing the podcast for 10 years now, actually, as of this year. And at the time, about 2017, a lot of us have been saying, like, a lot of podcasters, don't meet in person. They do stuff through Skype and stuff. And it was kind of like, it'd be cool to have a beer. Damn, Mighty K. You totally remember his train of thought there. But no, so like a lot of it was like, it'd be cool to meet for a beer, but like that was where it would end because people were hundreds of miles apart. And then one of my friends, BJ Cramp, who does a podcast, was like, we should do like a meetup in Nashville because Nashville's a good, tourist destination. It's a music town. And I live here, so I was like, I started putting it together where it would be like it was a crowdfunded meetup for podcasters, and so we're like the fans of the shows were basically donating money through a GoFundMe page, and I was like, well, if they're doing that, then they should be able to come too, and then instead of staring at a bunch of out of shape podcasters talk to each other, we should offer them something to see. So vinyl was really taking off around that time, so I was like, we'll get some vinyl vendors and. I'm sure Chris, a lot of the 80s rock guys live here in Nashville now. So we've done, Aaron and I have been beneficiaries of that because we're based out of here. So we've gotten a lot of great interviews with like Michael Wagner and people that live here locally. So I started calling in favors like Anthony from Tora Tora and all these people that live here. and like a bunch of them said yes. So it organically became a convention, and it wasn't even supposed to be initially. And then we've done it for 3 years, and then obviously 2020 kind of cut us off at the knees, and we had to take last year off. But we're doing it again this year, and we've got thank you, Kristen. We've got a bunch of people. It's like basically kind of a convention that brings artists, podcasters, fans, vendors together to kind of celebrate rock and roll for a weekend. And like the artists come and they do interviews with the podcast. The podcast get content. The artists get to plug what they're doing. The fans get to come buy vinyl, get the vinyl signed by the artist. So it's like a synergy thing, and it works out where everybody kind of benefits from it.
Very cool. That's August 6th through the 8th.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a pre-party on Friday, August 6th downtown, and the expo on the 7th, and then we're looking at doing some musician clinics at SIR on the 8th. There's go to rockinpod.com and get all the details. But yeah, we got a lot of guests. We've got like over 20 guests already announced, and I've got more that are coming probably in the next week.
Very cool. I'll hit Sam up about that and see. I don't know.
Cool.
We've got some dates that I can't talk about, and then I have some dates we can talk about that have been locked in. So I'm not sure August 6th to the 8th what's going on. That might be. I'm not sure. So I will talk to Sam about that.
I'm just happy to hear that bands are getting dates again. Like that we're finally getting back to that point where shows are finally happening again. You know.
Agreed. You know, like we did 3 in a row in April, and wait, was that April? Last time I was in Denver was for that Wolf Fest. I did like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We did play like Omaha, Kearney, then Denver, and that was like a month ago, 3 weeks ago. I think it was in April somewhere. Mm. It's been a while, but yeah, we hadn't been doing. I mean, literally, all we've done a few dates, scant dates here and there because we've been working on we were writing and working on the record. And we're recording it at Chip's Enough Studios. So, I mean, I see Chip regularly. So, you know, when I'm there.
That's good, brother. Chip's Enough.
Hey, brother, let me tell you about it. I got so many stories I can't tell, but if we ever meet.
Oh, come on. Tell us some Chip's Enough stories. Come on.
There are some funny ones.
You got to wait for Aaron to come back for that.
I'll wait for Aaron to come back. There are some really funny ones that you're like, I think
I was just saying, I was putting it in your ear and to the guys' ears that, you know, if you are anywhere around Nashville or Tennessee in that area around that time, you know, you guys would really enjoy stopping by and getting to meet some fans, get word of mouth out there. Of course, I would love to see you guys and don't forget, Chris didn't mention that we're also doing a screening of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Oh my God!
The day after with live commentary from that's comedians, private, including Don Jameson from that metal show.
Yeah, but that's going to be a private showing, just so I can protect my ass legally because I don't want Gene and his lawyers coming after me.
Mm-hmm. We played with Fats the Pussycat and Don Jameson in Kansas City. They were doing a show, and Don Jameson opened the show.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was weird, but it was there. I met him, and he's a pretty cool dude. We were talking. I met Eddie Trunk at Rocklahoma. I was trying to hand him some CDs, and he had a rental car, and he backed over this fucking shrubbery, and he was all freaked out. And I was like, "This is Eddie Trunk, man. What the hell?" And I backed over a fucking shrub, my car, and I'm like, "Hey, here's my CDs, man." And he's like, I didn't even know if he listened. He probably left them in the rental car, but he just had this Dodge Stratus or something. He backed over fucking, you know how Rocklahoma is, there's fucking trees and
That's
shit.
That's funny as shit.
Yeah,
Eddie Trunk backing over shrubbery in a Dodge Stratus. That's a great mental picture.
Eddie Trunk was just flipped out by it. And I told Don Jameson that, and he goes, "Oh, that's Eddie Trunk right there. That's him right there." I go, "He's spazzing out." He's like, "Fuck yeah, that's all he does." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah, I'm excited to meet Don. I've never met him. And then Craig Gass is also going to be part of it, who does like the greatest Gene Simmons impersonation of all time. So, awesome. To have them doing commentary over Kiss Meets the Phantom is going to be really funny.
Yeah, there won't be a dry eye in the house because there's a lot to pick from that movie, especially
Yeah.
funny guys,
Yeah.
guys that are funny, you know.
And I'm making sure we show the version that was aired on 70s TV with the porno music, not the Kissology version.
Good.
That'd be the way to go, because you're just like this. This is so terrible. I love it. I can't not watch it. You know.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's got to be as bad as humanly possible. But yeah, I'm not gonna get that Eddie Trunk mental image out of my head for a while. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you know what? I'll send a picture to your Facebook page, a Decibel Geek Facebook page of me and Eddie Trunk standing by the Dodge Stratus that got fucking backed over. Yeah, he backed over the book.
That's funny.
He's like, the look on his face. I'm just like, quick, take a picture. He fucking...
We should have Aaron share the Eddie Trunk story from the Atlanta Kiss convention. You remember this? The run-in you had where Vinny's on stage. You remember that?
Well, I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, you did. You Vinny's on stage and like this whole room's packed, and Aaron and I are near the back of the crowd, and Vinny brings up Eddie Trunk during the Q&A session, and he goes, "I did a Q&A with Eddie Trunk," and Aaron's right next to Eddie Trunk, and Aaron goes, "Who the fuck is Eddie Trunk?"
Oh, yeah. but then he looked at me, and then I elbowed him. I said, "I'm just kidding, buddy." He was standing right next to me. I forgot about that.
The look on his face when Aaron said it was just so priceless. He was like, "What did you just say?"
I was just fucking with him.
That is fucking hilarious. That is awesome. Oh my god!
I totally forgot about that.
Oh. And then there was a bunch of us podcasters hanging out at the bar next to the hotel after that whole thing. And like a bunch of them were wanting Eddie to come hang out with us, right? I didn't really care. I mean, I respect Eddie for what he does and everything, but I was like, whatever. And like Eddie comes walking up the sidewalk, and all these, of course, everybody starts fanboying out, going, Eddie, come hang out with us. And he's like, I got somebody to meet. I can't hang out with you guys. Like, whatever, dude.
The worst.
So, yeah.
Oh,
we got dissed by Eddie Trunk.
So now that Aaron's back, and I'm gonna hopefully be seeing him tomorrow night. What kind of good stories you got about Chip there?
Well, we don't Chip's enough stories. Let's go.
Well, okay. I'm trying to think. The last time I went up to Chicago to record, we were doing guitar tracks, so I was the only one there. So I didn't hardly get to talk to him too much. But the time before that, all of us were there doing drum tracks, and so he just straight faced me. He goes, "You ever taken 18?" And I go, but he did in his voice, "You ever taken 18, bro?" And I'm like, I go, "I don't know what an 18 is." He goes, "That's 9 twos. You got to shit really bad." And I'm like,
what?
Yeah. He goes, "I was in New York meeting little Steven Van Zandt from Bruce Springsteen's band." I'm like, "Yeah, I know who that is. He was on Sopranos, and he's the fucking guitar player." And he's like, yeah. And he goes, "So we're having breakfast, and then we're gonna go to his studio and listen to some of his new tracks." I'm like, "Cool." And he goes, "So we're walking across the street, and I get the bubble," and he's like, "Oh fuck." And so he goes, "I'm just gonna go to the studio and use the restroom, you know." He goes, "But I don't like to shit in public." I'm like, "I hear you." And he goes, like, "Because I mean, after your shit, you want to shower, don't you? Because if you spill poop on your arm, do you wipe it off toilet paper? Do you want to wash it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you want to wash it?" And he's like, "Exactly," you know. And he goes, "So the studio's locked." And Steve says, "Oh, my assistant so-and-so, Chloe's fucking running errands. Let's just go to the coffee shop and have some coffee real quick and wait for it." And Chuck's like, and he's like, "Okay, bro." And he goes, "Coffee makes you shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So he goes, "So we sat down and had coffee." And then Steve goes, "Well, I'm gonna go run over there and try to get this door open, and I'll come back for you." And he's like, Chip's like, "Great." So he's in New York City, and I believe New York City, he said they don't have like a man or a girl bathroom. It's like both bathroom because they can't put genders on it. So he goes in the bathroom and locks the door and is like destroying it. And he's like, "Dude, it's so fucking gross. It's so bad. I light up a cigarette to cover the smell." I'm like, "Okay, cool," you know. He's like, and then I realized I'm making all this fucking noise, so I turn the water on to make noise. Turn the water on. Yeah. And he goes, He goes, yeah. So I'm smoking another cigarette, and I'm like, all right. And he goes, so I start to flush the toilet, and he goes, but it's not going down, it's going up.
Oh no!
Like, oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh fuck! And so he's trying to fucking like get his dress and fucking back away from the door. And it's a single person bathroom. He's locked the door, and then he hears on the oops, don't do that to the phone. And he hears he goes, just a minute. he's trying to figure out what to do because the toilet's going up and up and up. And he says, it's right at the level, bro. And there's everything floating in it, and I don't know what to do. And he goes, oh, I know. I'll shut the water off, and maybe that'll make it go down. So he shuts the water off, and he goes, it slowly starts to go down. And I'm like, I'm fair relieved. Then I hear, and he's like, just a minute. I am freaking the fuck out because I'm like, I don't know what to do. It smells like poop and cigarettes in here. I don't know what's fucking going on, you know? So finally, it goes all the way down. He feels relief, and he goes, okay, cool. And he opens the door. Well, there's a knock, one more knock. And he answers the door, and he says there's these two fucking hot Paulina Porskovich fucking looking models looking right at him. And the smell hits him, you know? And he's like, hello, ladies. And they just look at him like this. And they won't even go in the bathroom because it smells like shit and cigarettes. He's like, yeah, my life story, bro. I meet two hotties and I smell like poop and cigarettes, bro. That was just a little 2-minute thing he told me while I was tuning my guitar.
Oh,
you know,
man.
waiting to fucking go in and do my more track.
That's awesome.
Then he said another one while I was out there. He goes, dude, he goes, bro, you ever meet a girl with tree trunks? And I'm like, don't know what you mean exactly. He's like, you know, redwoods. And I'm like, he's like, you know, their legs. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And he goes like, from here down, this girl was just a beast, like a fucking Bigfoot. From here up, she was perfect. I met her in Cleveland the other night, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's like, I was like, timber. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, they were like this fucking big around, dude. Shit cankles. They were redwoods.
Redwoods.
Pretty face though. And I'm like, yeah. He is a character. The funniest thing about him is he jumps from like one thing to another. So you're like, you'll be talking about something. He's like, by the way, I like what you did on that song. And you're like, oh, thanks, man. But you were talking about him taking a fucking 22, you know, or an 18. You know, that's 9 twos, bro. Trust me, you don't want to do it. I'm like, yeah, right. I got
What
you.
the fuck is that?
He'll just jump around and it's so funny because he'll have his glasses on and when you're reading his face or like his phone and shit, and he'll just say something and you're like, what was he like stupid? You know, I don't know what he's talking about. He's got stupid motherfuckers out. God love the guy. God bless him, but that's a stupid motherfucker, you know? You're like, who the hell's fucking messaging you while we're recording, bro? You know, he's a character. And I think he was watching when I came out of the guitar room, he was watching God, it was something like MTV Cribs or something. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I like watching these shows. And I'm like, okay. He just watching it while we're recording. He'll mute it and listen to what we're playing, but he'll watch like MTV Cribs, or one time he was watching Drain the Oceans on National Geographic Channel. He's like, I find these shows so incredibly cool, bro. You don't even know. And I'm like, cool, man. I don't even know what to say.
He's a trip.
Like, he is a good dude. You know, he's as funny as he is, he's very, very, very generous and very sincere and very they just did a show for like St. Jude's Hospital like last week where they donated a wheelchair, electronic wheelchair, like to Ethan, and that was super cool. And he is the nicest guy. We're recording and he'll literally be like, hey, I know you're working, so I brought you some Chinese food. And you're like, just out of the blue, he'll just bring you a bunch of Chinese food. Hey, help yourself, dig in. And you're like, he's just that kind of guy. He's just, and he'll just, it's funny because I'll stop recording. He'll open the door and he goes like, what about if you go, can you do that? Play it in F sharp. And I'm like this? Yeah, he goes, do that on the end this time. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, he hears things, you know, and you're like, he's just a super fucking cool dude, man. It's funny, generous, and I I'm really stoked about how the new album's going to sound because he's involved with it. So
That's
Awesome.
cool.
he's like producing it, and it's recorded at his place, and it's I have a lot of like good feeling about like it's going to do well. I'm hoping so. He's he's a character, that's for sure. And we did watch. I was recording there about a month, 3 weeks ago, and he had to go to Cincinnati or Cleveland or something, and he played a live show, but it was a stream. It wasn't an actual. There's no audience, and they played a couple of them Beatles songs, and they sounded pretty fucking good. I was really impressed. I was like, wow, a lot more. I mean, it was like their guitar player Tori is really good guitar player, really good
He's
dude.
great.
And
I love him.
he was like, he's playing over the end of it. I'm like, yeah, that not like the Beatles, but like modern, and it was fucking good, man. I think I think I heard that. What's the name of that fucking song? I can't remember now. I was like, wow, that's really, because I kept going, he's soloing over the end like a madman. That's awesome. But he played a couple Beatles songs. They sounded good, and I've heard a couple of the tracks that they recorded when they're doing playback, and I listened to them, and they sounded really good. So I'm mad. Chip is a giant Beatles fan, so they're gonna sound great. Plus he's he's a character, that one. Hey brothers, going to Denver. See you there. You see the Facebook message, you're like, that guy, the glass, he's a fucking character, man. Love him.
We had an interview with Donnie V that we did, which was definitely an interesting highlight of our whole time doing Decibel Geek. And Donnie, do you know that like Chip Z'Nuff wasn't like his original preference for stage name? Do you know the whole story behind that?
I do not.
So he wanted to call himself Chip St. Chocolate. And the reason for that is because Chip claims that he's black from the waist down.
Ah! Now that does sound like him.
And Donnie was like, "You're not calling yourself Chip St. Chocolate. I'm sorry. I'm not allowing that."
I am totally going to tell him that story when I go back there next week to record and be like, "Hey Chip, St. Chocolate, what's up?" He'll be like,
"Yeah, bring it up."
Story, bro. Yeah, he's an interesting fella. I don't know. And what's funny is I was going to get food when we were recording like 3 times ago, and we went to this little cafe, and I was getting ship food too, and they're like, we got, we're ordering, and I go, and Chip said he likes this. Oh, it's for Chip? Oh, okay, I know exactly what he wants. They knew exactly what he wanted because he likes his chicken salad a specific way, and I'm like, oh. They go, I have to say it was for Chip. We know what he lives like, a couple blocks over. I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know.
Nice.
And he lives in a little place called Blue Island. It's in Chicago, but it's not Chicago. And it's actually like this little oasis in the middle of the fucking ghetto. Which is weird. It's like Chicago on the south side, but it's actually like this little nice spot with a bunch of old people and Chip and everything. It's a pretty nice little spot. And, it's just right on the fringe, like Cicero's, like right over it's right off of Cicero on that far south, but it's a nice little spot, man. It's quiet, easy, but it's close enough to Chicago. He can get and do all the stuff he needs to do, All
right, Aaron, tell Chris what the process of interviewing Chip Z'Nuff is.
Oh, well, I was gonna say Chip gave me some really good advice one time. It was something like, "Hey brother, you don't let that joint go out while you're talking to me."
As long as you have a joint, Chip will do an interview with you. And the minute that joint is done, he's done. And he walks away.
I have, what? I've seen it. Yeah.
Well, my mistake that time is we were smoking, we were passing it back and forth, and he got talking, and I'm listening to him, and we're talking, and I'm holding it too long, and it goes out, and I'm holding it in my hand, and then he all of a sudden out of nowhere he's like, "Hey, where's that fucking joint at?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's right here." It went out. He's like, "You don't let that joint go out."
That sounds like Chip. There's he's like, he makes these, I don't know where he's going. It's none of my business. He's like, I got to make an errand real quick. I'm just like, I can only imagine what he's doing. I'm just like, I don't know what he's doing, but he comes back all Barney Rubble-eyed, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got you. I know what's going on. I'll be
Barney
right back, bro. I
Rubble-eyed.
have to run an errand. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't
He's a
imagine.
character, but yeah, we've played with so many times now. We've done a bunch of shows with him, and he's such a good guy and generous. And I mean, I can't stress how most people think rock stars are stuck up. That dude is not stuck up. He's like, he'll talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere if you got weed. And the thing is, he I don't even think he knows my name. To be honest with you, I don't think he's like, hey brother. I'm like, he doesn't know any. I don't think he knows. I think he knows Jimmy's name, but he doesn't know me or Sam's name. He's like, hey, have the bass player call me. I'm like, oh, okay. He don't even know our names. I've been working with this guy like 3 years, and I'm like, And Jimmy's like, don't worry, he called me the wrong name for like 2 years. I'm like, I guess no name is better than the wrong name. I guess.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. But yeah, so hey, can I plug a couple dates real quick with you guys? Is that
Yeah.
cool? Well, it just got announced, and I thought I was going to be able to break it on your show, but Sam broke it on Facebook. We're playing with Yngwie Malmsteen in Florida in July, I think the 24th and 25th in Clearwater, I think. But Yngwie Malmsteen, big Guitar Hero guy, So I remember when he came out, and I remember how cool it was, and I was like, yeah, this would be pretty cool. I don't think he's gonna appreciate us, but I totally dig him, I think he's gonna see us as a bunch of guys in makeup, but he's gonna do his guitar flips and his fucking shredding his arpeggios, but it'll be cool.
We gotta. I
All
think
you
we
gotta do
need,
is go out there and kick ass,
I think
Yeah, that's
we
all
need
I'm gonna do.
I
Yeah.
think we need to have you back on to explain the experience of opening for Yngwie Malmsteen.
You know,
Because I've heard so many stories.
I've heard well, what's funny is you hear stories from people, and then you meet the person they're talking about, and you're like, he wasn't like that with me. So I met Stevie Vai. Stevie Vai was in town on Halloween, like 2012 or 2013, and I went and seen him, and he pulls people out of the crowd to write songs with me. Are you familiar with what he does? He pulls like 5 or 6 people out of the crowd. Well, I got to play his fucking white guitar.
Oh, nice.
And write a song with him on stage. And it was super. I was just like this. What? And they're like, what was that like? I'm like, it was like meeting Jesus Christ for me. I mean, it was like that. I was like, Jesus, I was just shaking. I was so nervous playing in front of him, And he's like, don't be nervous. And I'm like, I'm trying not to, man. I'm just nervous because I'm in front of like a couple thousand people, and you're Steve Vai. And he's like, I'm nobody. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Nice. And everybody I talked to that were had done shows with him said, he's a dick. He's this. I'm like, you mean because he asked you to do what you're supposed to do? Like mix the monitors right and shit. That's why you don't like him.
Right.
And Steve Vai was fucking cool, super cool. And then I've heard horror stories about George Lynch, back and forth,
Right.
I met him on a bad night. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, really?
I might have to work with him again. So I only met him on a bad night. Yeah. Choir boys, fucking gentlemen every night of the week, they're fucking great. Even though
I've
they're in a
never
bad
heard
mood.
anything bad about them. I've always heard good things about those guys.
Oh, they are. And the thing that blew me away was how tight they were. Shit, they were a good band. I was like, wow. I was a fan, but not a big fan. But then I became a big fan after watching them play 15 nights in a row. I was like, geez, these guys are tight. They are fucking good. They were really good.
Nice.
And I can't say enough great things about the Choir Boys either. They're fucking gentlemen. They were awesome. They were a fucking great band every night. We got, and also, we're as at the worst of times because we were playing New Orleans the day we knew something was up because we played Houston. It was a great show, and we go to New Orleans. There's like 5 people at the show, and we're like, "What's going on?" Well, New Orleans had shut down because of COVID. It was like March 15th of 2020, and we were on the road. We had no idea. We ain't paying attention to the news. We don't give a shit. We're like, on to the fucking New Orleans. Let's play. And the tour manager came up to me. I gotta get a drink. Hold on, fellas. Mm-hmm. Tour manager came after me after we played, and he put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, we're done. We can't go anymore. We were supposed to play St. Louis the next night or Cleveland the next night, and they had like 500 pre-sale. And we're like, it's going to be a great show. Well, Ohio had one of the strictest restrictions as far as COVID at that time. So he said, we can't afford to play to like 20 people. We just can't. So they're like, you guys are awesome. we're having fun. We could keep going. And back then, if you remember, it was like 10 days to flatten the curve kind of talk. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
well, shit, man, we'll be back in a couple weeks. No problem.
Short term, yeah.
Yeah. And then it turned into a year, but they had to, so we were in our bus and they were in their bus. And the manager was like, hey, you know, we got to overnight it to Chicago to get an international flight to England, or else we're going to be trapped in the country with no money because they would have had to pay to stay, you know? So they just basically, boom, left us in the middle of the night. And then we drove on to, we actually went to Bourbon Street and walked around and stuff. And there was nobody there. It was weird. I was like, this is fucking the strangest thing. But so we spent the night and then drove back and was just like shaking our heads. And we thought we'd be back out on the road in like in 2 weeks. And it turned into, well, March 15th was a year. So more than a year. And so the fact that the shows are finally starting to happen is like, I don't know how many, where you're at, but how many venues are fucking shut down permanently because COVID destroyed them on restaurants, but it's pretty ridiculous. And, you know, I'm pretty disheartened by it, but I'm glad we're getting back out. There's a couple places in St. Louis we played that St. Louis had pretty moderate like restrictions. They weren't so strict. They were like, if you're sick, don't come in here, you know, kind of thing. You know, you didn't have to wear a mask, but you didn't have to, you know. So it was cool. But that whole.
How many shows did you guys miss out on?
Well, we were supposed to be with them 6 weeks, and we ended up doing 2. So.
Oh wow.
We were we were literally going from. It was Salt Lake City, Denver, to Texas, and then down to like Louisiana, Florida, and then up the East Coast and into Canada. We were supposed to do all these shows with them, and we were just so devastated. We were like, oh no, because we were selling merch like crazy, and I was so happy. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna have a bunch of merch overnighted to us. This is great, and we lost out, and I felt bad for the choir boys because they were just like they're struggling too because. You know, we're playing these shows and like that New Orleans show was just so heartbreaking. You're like, 6 fucking people? Are you kidding me? But the restrictions are so strict down there at that time.
Yeah.
It was just right when it happened. So it was really strict. But I mean, like I said, they're nicest guys in the world, you know, and I'm friends with them on Facebook and I keep seeing that they're pushing back shows and pushing back shows and pushing back shows. And we were supposed to play last year in October with Loudness for their whole U.S. tour, which I'm a giant Akira fan. I think I'm even wearing a fucking shirt. And
I see that, yeah.
I was so stoked. I was like, yes. And then that got pushed back till this year. And then I don't know what the status of it is right now. The last I had heard, it was supposed to be October of this year, but it might be pushed back. We haven't got confirmation on that yet. So, and then a couple of dates I can't talk about yet till they announce it. But then we got one with, are you familiar with the band Native Sons?
Yeah.
We're playing with them for a couple shows here in Nebraska. I think we're doing a big outdoor festival called Here in Nebraska, which is it's like a big outdoor show on, I think, July 16th or 17th. And then we're playing up in Columbus. And this is just a venue in Columbus, Nebraska. It's this Saturday. It's either 16th or 17th. I don't remember. I'm not sure which it is. But Ingve is the 24th of July and the 25th. And then we have some other stuff that's coming down the pike, but I can't talk about it because it hasn't been released yet. And if I announce it, Sam will fucking choke me out.
Well,
but we got some stuff
Kristen wants to know: are you going anywhere around Charlotte that you know of?
I can't say, but it's possible.
He's nodding his head, Kristen, so that tells you all you need to know.
I was in the Army in North Carolina when I was in the 82nd Airborne, and so I love North Carolina. I wanted to move there. I love the whole. It's like the winter season's like 2 weeks long. It's great. I love it there. It's a little hot, but I loved it there. So we were slated to play like. Not Wilmington. Does that sound right? Wilmington.
Mm-hmm.
not Fayetteville, but Wilmington and another place in North Carolina last time, but it got COVID killed me, so,
Gotcha.
one of those things, but hopefully, we're going to play Nashville too, but I can't tell you when. I'll announce it when I can, but yeah, Nashville, we're talking about it and possibly maybe seeing you the 6th of August. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Could happen. You never know. We might swing by if we're in the area. If we can't play, maybe we can just swing by and hang out.
Yeah.
And talk.
Come by and get interviewed by 50 different podcasts.
Well, there's that too. Talk about Kiss all day long. There's nothing wrong with that. I can do that anytime. So, yeah. So there's that. And
cool.
Yeah.
So I've got we got 15 minutes left, and I do have 3 interesting selections for Smash or Trash tonight. Do we want to do Smash or Trash?
Yeah. I was just gonna open it up there for you.
All right.
Cool.
Well, hit the intro if you have it handy, or I can do it. One or the other. You need me
Got
to
it.
do it.
Smash or Trash.
So pro.
So, Chris, you okay with hanging out for Smash or Trash? Tell us your thoughts on these.
Absolutely. I'll be gentler because I don't want to make any enemies, but I'll be gentle.
Okay. So we're gonna go with a band pretty well known to start with, and then 2 lesser known bands. The first band, you've all heard of Flotsam and Jetsam, I'm sure. Flotsam and Jetsam put out an album a year or 2 ago that was was my top album of the year. So they have a new album called Blood in the Water coming out on AFM Records. Flotsam and Jetsam, and this is me reading the copy, so give me a break. Flotsam and Jetsam have seen many of their peers have started at the same time, including Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Venom have had their day in the sun. Considered in metal circles as legendary, the mighty Flotsam and Jetsam over their long career has seemed somewhat plagued by label snafus, changes in trends, and other unfortunate events. On album number 14, and without a doubt making the best music of their career, Flotsam and Jetsam finally smells blood in the water this time around. The new album, as you could probably figure it out, is called Blood in the Water. This is Flotsam and Jetsam with a song called Burn the Sky.
I agree with Christian here. Is anybody hearing a clicking sound?
I don't know what that is, but it's not.
I don't know what it is either.
I don't hear it now.
The song's badass though.
It was heavy. I dug it.
Yeah, I dug it too. That's definitely a smash for me.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the rest of the record.
Yeah.
Their last record was my album of the year. I love that stuff.
That sounds like old school thrash metal. That's what I like. I was like, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded good.
That's wild. It seems like Flotsam and Jetsam are in 2021, even last year. I mean, this is a band that's putting out some of the best music of their whole careers right now.
Yeah.
It fucking sound great.
I am hearing that clicking. I don't know what that clicking's coming from. I don't think it's me. I don't know.
Don't hear nothing.
I don't hear anything.
All right.
course,
So
I-
is that smashes all around for that?
That's a smash. I don't think anybody had anything negative to say about that one.
Yeah,
Ron?
I definitely say it's a smash. I seen Flotsam and Jetsam here in Denver 2 or 3 years back, and man, they put on a hell of a show. And you know, yeah, like you said, I think they're putting out their best music right now.
Now I am hearing that clicking sound. What is that? You guys hear it?
I only hear it when Ron's talking.
I think it's all.
Oh, really? Is it me
your,
then?
It's your fault. Mute your microphone.
Oh, there you go. It's
No, now I still
unanimous
hear it.
smash for Flotsam and Jetsam. I like it.
Everyone stop moving. I don't know what that is. That's weird. I don't think it's me. All right. Well, anyway, ignore the clicking sound. So the next one, this is a UK rocker Stevie R. Pierce and the Hooligans have announced tour dates for their second studio album, Major League Son of a Bitch, which will be released in August via Heavy Rock Cargo Records. Nothing has been released from this album yet, but I thought I would play the title track from their 2020 album. It's called Rip It Out. It's not the Ace Frehley song.
Oh,
So here it is. Takes a second to get into it.
what is going on?
I don't know what that click is.
I think I have determined it might be on Sniper's mic here, because I had him muted.
Oh, it's gone.
Sniper is muted right now.
What?
It's your fault.
So yeah, I don't know if it's something with your mic, and that it didn't start till just now. So
I don't know, man. I don't hear. I'm not hearing it either way, so it could be me. I don't know, man.
That's all good. Well, I got one more song to do. I gave that a smash. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
good.
that sounds pretty good.
I
I'd like
thought
to
it was
hear
pretty
more of
fucking
it.
cool. I dug it.
Yeah.
I'll give it a clicking smash. Thank you, Robert Rowe.
Smashes all around, Ron.
yeah, I was digging it.
All
it's
right, not
two-
bad. Two for two.
All right, the last one I actually like a lot, which of course it means you guys will probably hate it. But anyway, so the last one is a band called March in Arms, and this is a song called 1914. It's basically based on World War I, and this is a band from South Dakota. This is South Dakota's military-themed power metal aces March in Arms have inked a worldwide deal with RFL Records. March in Arms is setting to launch their new album, Pulse of the Daring, on July 1st to a global audience. And today, they released their debut single, 1914. So this is March in Arms with a song called 1914. Give it a second to go through the YouTube intro.
That's a cool ass album cover.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a really cool lyric video.
That's pretty damn cool.
Isn't that good? I like that.
Yeah.
Marching Arms. Kind of has a Dream Theater vibe to it. Kind of early Dream Theater.
Sorta.
Yeah.
A little sprinkling of some Volbeat in there, maybe.
Yeah, I like
For
that,
sure.
and I like the concept of it. Doing stuff about World War One. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. Smash.
Smash.
I think that might have been the best one for me.
Wow.
They were all three were good though, but
Nice.
I picked 3 good
Yeah,
ones tonight.
I'm gonna have to. It's all around here.
You should have heard some of the crap I didn't put up.
It's always fun when you throw in one of them too, though.
Yeah, I need to throw one horrible one in every week just to be sure, just to be thorough.
Well, you don't have to do it now because those were all 3 of them were pretty damn good. What were the names of the bands again?
That was
Flotsam and Jetsam. What was the middle one?
Flotsam and Jetsam. The hang on, you gotta put me on the spot like that. And then Stevie R. Pierce and the Hooligans and Marching Arms.
Okay. All right. Nice.
3 for 3 tonight.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Might have to be picking those up for show and tell in the future here.
That's right.
Right
So,
on.
What does Snippet think? Sniper.
I like the last one best as well. I thought it was
Did
pretty
you?
good,
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
for sure.
All right. So let's get some plugs in before we go off the air here, Chris. What do you want people to know? Where do people go to find out more about your band?
Well, we're on all the musical fucking things, the Spotify and M's and my cat's trying to knock on my. Hang on, that's why I hold on to me. He's trying to knock shit over. Spotify and of course Amazon and all the other ones. But we got some. You can go to the Facebook page, The Midnight Devils, and we have the midnightdevils.com as well. There's merch there if you're interested. CDs, koozies.
Got this shirt here.
Oh yeah, it's a great shirt.
Nice.
That's yeah.
Nice.
I don't even, it's just they're like, where? How come you don't have any merch? I'm like, I can't afford to buy it. I mean, that's what I have to sell it to make money to buy more merch. I'm like, if I can get like a Loudness shirt or a Van Halen shirt, I'm happy as shit. But but the merch is there. You can get whatever sizes, and we have some new stuff coming out too. But I'm not allowed to talk about it just yet. Right?
So you guys do have the album Something Bigger out.
Yeah.
That's a really good album. I got that one. So that's something for people to check out.
Nice.
Yeah. The new album, we have a working title I'm not allowed to tell you, but it should be done within the next 2 months as far as everything. And of course, Chip's Enough's involved with it. And we got a couple, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the guy's name that's like mixing it, but I won't. But he did Kiss Revenge. I will tell you that. That's why we're pretty stoked. Me and Sam are pretty stoked about getting him to do like the production on that.
Is it Jay Messina?
No.
I'm going to try to figure it out.
Now, see, this is what we do to Chris as far as Rockin' Pod announcements. He'll always say, I can't make an announcement because it's not confirmed or anything yet. So we just give him shit until he drops enough hints that we figure it out anyhow. But
well, he has the same first name as me and Chris. Does that help at all?
His name is Chris.
Don't challenge him to Kiss trivia, man.
Yeah.
He'll figure
An
it out.
engineer named Chris that worked on Revenge?
Yeah, he did the mix down and did the production of the final mixing of it and the production he did of it.
I got to do some homework. I don't know this one. Right.
Wow.
He's done a lot of like, I'll just tell you his name's Chris Steinsman. So
Okay.
yeah, he's done like a bunch of big name people. So when we found out he did Kiss, we were like, yeah, we want him. So
yeah.
You're a nerd just like we
That's
are.
all you need to hear.
I'm like, that record was pretty great. I could get behind that, So
Yeah.
for sure.
Great
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
hopefully, I'll hit you guys up if we have anything,
Yeah.
if
Keep
we
us
can
updated.
pre-release like a song to you, and so you can get a copy of it, and I'll have Sam send it to you.
Great.
Or I got some stuff, but I can't. I'm not allowed to do anything because I'm not. I can only do this much. They won't let me do so much, you know.
Well,
That's all right. As soon as
that's
you
right. Keep us updated.
get things
Sure.
confirmed and that, just keep us up to date on what you got going on.
Yeah.
Everybody head over to the Midnight Devils Facebook page. You can like that, and you'll find out when they can confirm anything, and see if they got some dates coming around your town and good stuff like that. I know I'll be looking forward to seeing when you guys can come around again.
She said North Kakalaki. Wow.
Kakalaki.
When I was in the Army, they called South Carolina South Kakalaki. And I was like,
There you
wow.
go.
First time I've heard that in quite a long time. I was like,
You know, she's
holy
a
cow.
local now.
Yeah, it's been a privilege and an honor to hang out with you
It was
guys
fun,
and chat
man.
guitars and everything. We didn't talk too much about Van Halen or Kiss, but
We'll do it another time.
Let's do it again.
yeah, for sure. I can blab all night about so many road stories and so many things I can talk about. I got to be careful what I say because I don't want to get sued, you know. But
I hear you.
Well,
Thanks for coming on, man.
That's why we can always bring you back for another time when you can tell even more. And
yeah, well,
and that.
hopefully when the new album's out, we can send you a digital copy of it, and you guys can see what you think, and we can come back on. Maybe me and Sam come back on and talk about it. So
Yeah.
Cool.
And he's got Chip stories too, because he goes up there sometimes when I don't go when he sings. So we all got funny Chip stories.
Nice.
Well, thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's all been on this side of the table. I had the best time, man. Thank you. Otherwise I'd just be sitting home watching reruns of Golden Girls. Don't even worry about it, man. So thanks. It was great meeting you all again. And hopefully I'll have something soon to give you guys for for the new album.
Sounds great, man. I'm
Sounds
looking
good,
forward
man.
to hearing it.
Okay.
Thanks
for
everybody
everything,
for
guys.
tuning in. It was great to have everybody on, and thanks for interacting tonight. And we'll be back next Friday.
Yeah.
See
We
ya.
should be having a guest next Friday too. Anyways,
Bye.
thanks again, Chris. Have
Thank
a good
you.
night.
Have a
Thanks
great
all.
night, guys.
See you next Friday.